today's episode, I'm going to be talking about something that is pretty near and dear to me, something that affects every video that I shoot and also causes me to procrastinate. Talked about that in the previous one. So this one, today, what we're going to be talking about is showing, and what I'm looking down at is I'm looking down at my red book. Always have to have the red book. So today the topic is, we'll get there. It's going to happen. The words are going to work, and we're going to make it through this video. Showing up when you're not perfect. Oh man, is that a huge one? Talk about what just happened a few seconds ago. Couldn't even get the words out. So yeah, this is a huge thing for me. It is definitely probably the number one thing that prevents me. That it doesn't prevent me, but it causes me to procrastinate a lot. Especially procrastinating about doing this sort of stuff. And it's a fear. It's a fear of this isn't going to be perfect. This isn't going to play out the way that I've got it in my head. Any of the creative folks out there, I think you'll appreciate this. I heard this before, and hopefully I'm not repeating myself, but if I am, here you go. I'm gonna instill this piece of advice. That's what's gonna happen. Sometimes a lot of creative endeavors are blocked because we have a certain ideal image in our head of what we want that project to turn out to be, and it's really hard to take what's in your head and actually compose it, produce it, whatever the term you want to use. And that is something that happens with me. So I have this perfect idea of how I want this sort of stuff to go, how I want some of my other creative projects to go, and how I even want my career, my personal life, my relationships, all that stuff. We always have these ideal, perfect images of things. And it can be frustrating and disappointing when it doesn't align with reality. And that's a tough one because that's just how reality works. Reality is imperfect and a bit random and a bit chaotic, and you can't predict everything. So the more we can let go of that, the more at ease we'll be in our life. And I'm going to take some water. I'm going to drink some water. Telling you, we'll get through this one. It'll be a little bit tricky, but I should probably refer to my notes so that I don't just ramble about God knows what. Okay. So, why is it important? And well, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about who we should be showing up for when we're not perfect. And in my opinion, the thing that always comes to my mind is we should show up for our friends, our family, and life in general. When we're not feeling perfect, and it's important to do those things. So, or to be with those people, or to be with life in general. It's really easy to feel like because we're imperfect, because we're not whatever that ideal image is in our head, it's easy to just sort of cower and hide and retreat. And when we do that, we end up turning inward, and inward turns into a sort of a vicious cycle where we start to have negative thoughts, we start to create stories, all the sort of bad stuff that just reinforces a lot of our insecurities and inadequacies. I can say the word. So it's really good to try to break out of that loop and go outward. That's what I was trying to say, not outsward. That was going to be a combination of outside and outward becomes outsward. So figure that one out. Or I guess I solved it for you already. Oh boy. I'm not going to edit this. This is how it's going to go. It's going to be a very strange one. All right. I got to settle down. I got to bring it down a level. Yeah. So it's important. Show up for your friends, your family, show up to life as an imperfect person. Be who you are. Be authentic. Be true to yourself. And you'll find that life is a lot easier. Also, it's important to show up to your friends and family as imperfect because that your friends already fell in love with you and your family already fell in love with you just being you. When we were born, we were good enough. And so as we get older, as we adapt more to society, we layer on all of this stuff, all these expectations that we sometimes can't meet. And that's what makes us feel like we're imperfect. And that's just what we've been expected to be. And if we can remember that when we just showed up into this world, we were good enough, and we still are. So it's important to try to get back to that, and that's why it's good to reconnect with your friends and family, especially when you're feeling a little bit down. You're feeling those negative stories start to creep in. get out there, get out to your friends and family. And trust me, I struggle with that. I'm not perfect, so I struggle with that on a constant basis. It's really easy to be like, you know what, I don't want to burden my friends, I don't want to burden my family when I'm having things come up, but that's what it means to be in community. So it's super important. Reach out to the people you need to. I have a note in here. When you're feeling dark, your friends and your family, those are your light. So go towards the light, and I mean that in a good way. Go towards your friends and family. What else do I have in here? I already talked about that. I got through a good amount of this. And so the most important thing about showing up imperfect is that you show up as your authentic, true self. And life just gets easier, or so I'm seeing. I'm trying to show up more and more as just myself, to be as authentic as possible. And I'm noticing that life does get easier, but I'll tell you, in the beginning, life is quite uncomfortable because, at least for me, I've got, 40 years of all this stuff that's kind of all these expectations that have been layered on top of me that I'm trying to now decide, do I want those things or not? Some of them are useful, some of them are not. So it's been sort of an uncomfortable journey because you're having to make some pretty tough decisions. So what I'm trying to say is life does get easier, but there is work. There's a path of work you have to go down, and that work is going to be uncomfortable in the beginning, but uncomfortable is good. Uncomfortable means you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, you're expanding your comfort zone, and you're becoming more confident, which is great. It's a great thing. And what's interesting is I was trying to do a little bit of research about this, and I stumbled across, and I'll put a link in the video. I stumbled across a video that was very interesting, and what it boiled down to was about loving yourself and loving others. And it really, the underlying message was unconditional love for yourself. And I think that was really cool. Why I thought that was interesting is I wasn't exactly searching for love to trying to connect this video to mine. I wasn't really searching for that. But in my notes, I kind of came down that path as well, where it's like, as we become more authentic and we show our imperfect self to people, it means that we're actually building more compassion, more love for ourselves, because we're saying, hey, I accept who I am, and I'm okay with people seeing who I am. This is just me. I was brought into this world like this. And so that's where you start to build unconditional love for yourself. So I thought it was interesting that as I was trying to research a little bit more for this video, I happened to stumble into something that was all about loving yourself, loving other people. So it seems like there's a bit of convergence of ideas, and that's always a good thing. It means that you're on the right path. A little bit of synchronicity in life is good. Yeah, and so perhaps we'll end this with my last thought in here is the only thing to do is to be yourself and experience love. So give that a thought. See what kind of things you see in the world when you put that lens on, and show up imperfect. I mean, look at my hair. My hair is all over the place. It's imperfect. Everything's imperfect. So run with it, roll with it, flow with it. Till next time, peace.